Hey, we're the Overall Nerds.
And welcome to our new series of What If, where we look at whether a certain movie was good or bad and implications both positive and negative with having the actors, the franchise, and the genre as a whole.
For our first video, we will ask the question, what if Green Lantern was good?
So let's first look at the positive effects.
Yeah, the DC cinematic universe would have taken place a lot earlier, so they wouldn't have had to rush their films, and that would have made the DC films so much better as they would have better character development and wouldn't be playing catch up to Marvel. Think about it, Green Lantern came out in 2011 and Iron Man came out in 2008. This would have meant that both these cinematic universes would have roughly started at the same time, as we believe that DC would have used Christian Bale's Batman as the main Batman for their universe, as it would have been weird for them to recast Batman so quickly after The Dark Knight.
This can actually be another positive for us fans, as it would have meant more competition from Marvel resulting in better quality movies. For example, Marvel would have taken all these stupid risks, such as making the Mandarin character a joke, and also could have put more effort into Thor 2 or made it better because it had so much potential but ended up being one of the worst movies of Phase 2.
Exactly. Adding to this would have meant much better quality movies for DC, as the Man of Steel movie was still planned for 2013. If we knew Superman was taking place in the same universe as Batman and Green Lantern, the movie would have been much more popular and greatly anticipated, as the idea of Batman and Superman being in the same movie universe would have been so much more exciting than Iron Man and Captain America at the time, as some could argue that before the MCU was developed, people's ideas of superheroes were typically associated with Batman and Superman.
Now another positive is Batman vs Superman. Now not in this sense, because still possibly got Batman vs Superman, but just not what we saw in March. We've hopefully had received something a lot different. Zack Snyder was still directed, but the film wouldn't be as rushed. We wouldn't have all those misplaced cameos from the rest of the Justice League. And additionally, a lot more hype for the rest of the universe. We wouldn't be feeling worried for Justice League when it came.
Actually, I think that if Green Lantern was successful, there would be no need for Batman vs Superman.
Oh really? Okay, continue.
Well, think about it, there'd be no need for it. The only reason why Batman vs Superman was created was so DC could catch up to Marvel quicker. DC used this movie for awareness, to remind people that DC also had an extended universe. It was also used to introduce all these new characters such as Wonder Woman and The Flash. If the DCEU started the same time as Marvel, there would be no need for any of this, as they would have introduced all these characters in their own solo movies.
So basically the same as Marvel?
Yeah, they would have gone straight into a Justice League movie, the same as Marvel went straight into the Avengers. There would be no need for Batman vs Superman.
Well, I guess we have to consider the negative effects as well. For example, there would be no Deadpool, and that would be the biggest loss to me. Deadpool showed film shows that people will go and watch R-rated superhero films repeatedly. It ended up making around 760 million at the box office, which, considering how long this film took to make and all the obstacles it went through, such as X-Men Origins, the fact it did so well both with critics and in the box office is a massive achievement. I would say it would have been a high point in Ryan Reynolds' life. What it would have meant for him is that he would have made Green Lantern famous and not Deadpool. Another question is what type of Deadpool film we would have got, so I still think the test footage would have still been leaked, meaning the film would still go forward, but without Reynolds. Whether this would have been a good thing we can't determine, as we wouldn't have known what he would have been like in the role. But even if the Green Lantern film was a success, I still can imagine Deadpool without him, because that's what I see it as a big negative.
Now, despite the fact that we all thought that Christian Bale's Batman was amazing in his own right, despite the voice, I'm sure it makes us all sad to think that we would have never been able to experience Batflick. I mean, Ben Affleck's take on Batman is by far the best thing to come out of Batman vs Superman, and everyone is excited for the new Batman movie to be coming out. We are sure that if Green Lantern was successful, in order to save time, they would have continued with Christian Bale's Batman. Even though we are sure that he could have done the job, we would still preferred Batflick.
So true, and another negative is that if DC and Marvel were in constant competition, there will be several movies from each studio coming out per year. We're looking at 4 to 6 a year. Now, I'm sure this would be really cool at first, but sooner or later, us as an audience are going to find it repetitive and suffer from superhero fatigue. I mean, this has already started, as a lot of people are getting bored seeing the same things on the big screen.
The last negative effect that this would have is the fact that they would have to recast the Joker, as Heath Ledger unfortunately died back in 2008. It would have been weird to see Christian Bale's Dark Knight take on another Joker due to the previous Joker being so iconic. However, I think they would find a way around this, because by having someone else take on the mantle of the Joker due to it being inspired by the previous one. At least that's how I think it would play out.
Now it's time for some potential effects. These are things that could possibly still happen if the Green Lantern movie was successful. However, it would have been unlikely.
First of all, we believe that due to the intense battle going on between Marvel and DC, if Green Lantern was successful, Marvel wouldn't have made the great film Guardians of the Galaxy. This is because Marvel at the time couldn't take such a risk on a movie about characters no casual moviegoer had ever heard about, as even if one of their movies were bad, it would have given DC the upper hand, which they could not afford to happen.
However, it's not just Marvel that would lose something good. DC would have never started the CW shows, as they would have never been too focused on their movie universe, would have rather had characters such as Flash and Supergirl in their movies and not TV shows. The only reason the TV shows and the movies coexist is due to DC starting their universe a lot later than the MCU. However, if it started earlier, there would be no need or time for the TV shows. You know what? Who cares what we think? What do you think? Comment in the comment section below on your thoughts and ideas. Leave a like and subscribe, because this has been the Overall Nerds.
And have a good one.